Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Odyssey House Journals. I'm Randall Carlisle. My guest co-host is Kim Smart. Hello, Kim.
Hi, it's good to be here.
First time around.
Yeah.
And my guest today is Michael Hodges.
Thank you.
Welcome. I've worked in TV news for 40 years. You're a creative writer, and when you hear Michael's story, I don't think I could have written something like this and had it be believable because it's such a crazy story. And I'm glad you decided to come and share it, Michael. Thank you. And I'll start, maybe we should call this, it's never too late to find recovery, right?
That's right.
So,
That's right. Never too late.
Michael, believe it or not, started using meth at the age of 8, which is, I told you that earlier,
It's
Kim.
unbelievable to me.
You looked at me like...
How do you find meth when you're 8 years old?
Well, it was easy for him,
Yeah.
so...
I ended up, my mother dropped me off at my real dad, Michael Priento's, and he was a Hell's Angel in San Bernardino, California. So with the motorcycle organization, it's pretty readily. So.
And how did your dad introduce you to meth? Saying, "Here, son."
He didn't. He just told everybody in the club, teach him whatever is our world. You know what I mean? And that's their world: drugs, guns, motorcycles. So
Violence.
Yeah.
What did you think at the? I'm trying to.
I was scared.
What?
I was scared to death. But I thought I was going to Disneyland too. So yeah.
So your mom told you were going to
Disneyland.
and drops you off at a
Yeah.
Hell's Angels. See what I'm saying? You couldn't write this kind of
I
stuff.
know it.
Yeah.
2 weeks after my 8th birthday, I thought I was going to Disneyland, and I didn't. I went to San Bernardino, California. So, and then first she took me over to Riverside, California, to meet my dad's family, and none of them were around. And so then she just dropped me off right to him. So, and he said, "I don't have time for a kid," so they put me inside the clubhouse, and that was the first time I drank a beer and the first time I did a line of speed. So
what was it like at 8?
scary.
Scary
because I was confused, and the meth or the crank makes you jittery and makes you nervous, makes you scared. So I was scared. I was more scared than I was when I walked up in there. So.
Did you feel pressure to keep using it around
I did.
all of them?
I did, because that's a lifestyle and a way with them. So, and then from there, by the time I was 13, I was cooking. I was addicted to it. By the time I was 15, my real dad, Michael Prienzo, was executed. So we don't know who did it. So then I came back to Utah and tried to get my life together, and I still was using. I couldn't get away from everybody. If anybody ever says that with meth you can, recover
Just
until
quit
this
when you
time,
want.
you can't. It's just as powerful as heroin is. It's just as powerful as opiates is. You know what I mean? Because, people say, well, I come off it and I sleep a few days, I eat, and then I get right back on it. But it's not that. You're constantly craving it. I'm 358 days today, and I still have to worry about, if I want to go out there and use or do anything like that. So it's a struggle every minute of every day. I don't do this one day at a time. I do this every minute at a time, and so I'm thinking when I hit that 365 mark and I start dancing in the front yard of Odyssey House, and that'll be the day when I can start doing day by day. So, because that'll give me a pretty good start to my foundation of staying clean. So.
And this has been your first period
Yep.
of sobriety.
The longest time prior to was 32 days, and that was because I was in solitary confinement, and that's the best I could do. So.
You, Kim, had a son who passed away from an overdose, and I bring that up because
I just had a son pass away.
Yeah.
Can you
Just last
relate
Tuesday.
that? It was recent.
Oh,
Tuesday.
recently,
Last
I'm
Tuesday.
sorry.
So I think it's helping me in my recovery, because I really think that he, I mean, I don't know. He did it with a needle, and I've always been. Even though I did the drugs, I was against intravenously using because of, what the rules that I learned of, around my dad and stuff. It was you can't do intravenously, or you're dirty, and that ends it. So he did it with a needle, and for 32 years I thought that kid was dead anyway, and he found me when I got out of federal prison last year on the 20th of January. In February, he found me, and he was homeless and using and stuff like that. And I should have, at that point, tried to clean up with him and tried to help him, but I didn't do it. I continued to ride motorcycles, continued to sell drugs, and I used to say with the fentanyl that going around, I used to make a comment of, as long as somebody pays me my money, I really don't care if they overdose or not. And now I had a son that did. So.
Yeah.
So, and I've heard you talk before about a guilt factor there, because you were doing the same thing.
What?
And probably some people may have died from what
sure,
you were selling
I'm sure
them,
many,
and then your son.
I'm sure many did, Randall, and that's the sad part about it, because I was looking this morning on the statistics, me and Bev was, about all the people who's overdosed on fentanyl just in the last year and a half, and that would have been the times that I was out. And in Utah, they've had more than the state of California, and that really bothered me, because that's why I'd bring it out of California. And I kind of really enjoyed being in Oregon, because it was I thought I was going to get away from everybody in Utah that I was running with and get away from California, but I ended up hooking up with all the same wrong people in Oregon too. So, and my wife's given me that tough love. Tara's given me that tough love. She's I don't get to go home to Oregon until I'm recovering and I'm doing it right, and she always wishes me the best and tells me how proud of me she is, but in all, she knows that until I'm getting this right, she doesn't want me around, Randall. So, and neither do my adopted kids, my stepkids. So they all run a clean life, and they should, they should have that right to tell me that, I need to clean up for their mom. So,
Kim, I was talking to you, Kim, about how long your son, the longest period of sobriety he had.
Yeah, I think it was about 40 days, and that's once he really fell down into the depths of heroin, and he did treatment when he was a high schooler, and then when he was 25 he went into treatment, and from then to 28 he was in 8 programs, and he would get out and it just wouldn't last long. He just slipped back so quickly. That's right. And he wanted, he willingly went to every single treatment program. It just shows the power of the drug, I think.
yeah. See, and I willingly didn't. I'll be truthful, I went to Odyssey House, and for the first 38 or 40 days, I hated everybody. I hated everything about it. I hated my federal probation officer. I hated the federal drug. But I got to tell you now, I go to drug court on Monday from federal, and I'm happy. I see a new light. I quit banging my head against the brick wall, and Odyssey, people can say anything about it, but it is a life-saving place if you want it. Yeah. It's just some aren't ready for it yet, some aren't ready to do it, but I see Odyssey, everybody always says, well, I'm going to go to this program, that I can do that, or I can do this, or I can do that. And if you're doing that, if you're program shopping, all you're going to do, you're just looking to get out of your law, your legal problems, and then you're going to go right back to the thing. If I would have went back to prison or stayed in jail a little longer and came back out on probation right now, I wouldn't be sitting here with 358 days clean. I would be back out there using. So.
I don't know if people are aware, but at treatment facilities, it's not a lockdown deal. You go in,
you're able
and
to
if
leave.
You get frustrated and you want to leave,
you can walk out. You walk out the front door. People walk out the front door. They run out the front door. They try and climb out the window, try and sneak out. And there is no reason to. You're not locked down. You're not. And they don't call the cops and say, hey, he's walking down the driveway. they inform whoever, if you're on there through court probation stuff, they inform them. They don't come chasing you with lights and sirens blaring. And you know, that's the biggest misconception about Odyssey House is people believe that you're in lockdown, and if you walk out that door, you're being arrested right then.
Yeah.
You know, it's not true. And the thing about it is with Odyssey House, there are a lot of people there who, if you ask, and you ask for a check-in, you ask for help, they're there for you. They really are. It's a client-ran base, as everybody knows, what you've talked about. And the whole thing about it is you have 80, in my house, I have 83 other peers. If I can't find somebody to talk to about what I'm having a problem with, I definitely ain't opening up.
Yeah.
And plus you have the staff, so.
How did you, if you said you hated it for how many days? Over a month.
I packed my bags and said I was going LACA, leaving without clinical advice. And I packed a bag, and then I slept on it. I got up in the morning, and I said, "Ooh," and I was so angry. But I was done with the emotions. I was done with the anger emotion. I was done with everything. And you know, my slogan that everybody says around there is, "Watch. He'll get mad and he'll sleep on it, and tomorrow morning he'll come and be the happy old man that he's supposed to be." So, and it's good because a lot of them around there call me OG. Some of them listen to the advice. They take the mentorship. Others of them, they're not into the mentorship or anything of it. But some of them are there just for the legal. And you know what? If it keeps them alive for that 90 days or 6 months, it's like me and Kim will say, if it kept our kid alive another 30, 60, 90, 120 days, that's 120 days we have with them.
Yeah.
So,
Has that ever gone through your mind?
What?
About if he would have just stuck with it?
Oh, well, too many times. And he was in Tucson, Arizona, and he got out of the 6-month program and was living alone in a trailer park in a decrepit trailer that I really was. And I kept saying, come back here, go to Odyssey House. You know, there's so many resources here that you didn't know about when you were here before. And he kept saying, well, I bought this place, I have a lease on the land, you know, this pad, I can't leave. And it's like, yes, you can. And it was strange. He was so worried about his credit rating that he wouldn't come back and get the help he needed. But, you know, inside, maybe it was like, I don't really want to.
I don't want to.
But, but you can't go there.
No.
You can't do that as a parent or anybody, anyone.
No, you have to pretty much stand, Kim, like that and say, you know, it's kind of like with me. If my wife would have lost me to the same thing as my kid, you know, because now everything is cut with fentanyl and xylene. They don't pick and choose what drug they want people to overdose and die on.
Right.
So, and I always tell somebody when they go to walk out that door of Odyssey House, I say, you know, maybe could you promise me for the first 3 days you won't go out and get high, but they will. They'll go out, they'll go get loaded, and if they come back, I'm even happier on it.
That they
You know,
came
but
back.
if they continue to do it over and over, I think they're not quite ready for it yet, and maybe their situation, somebody needs to find out what's really going on with them, because everybody, I don't think you wake up like I did. I didn't just at 8.5 go, I think I'm going to be a drug addict. Nobody wakes up and wants to be. It usually turns into something. Mine came from a lot of abuse. I mean, there was a lot of abuse and a lot of neglect around the house.
Horrible rejection,
and
too.
And then there was when I was dropped off, when I came back after he was killed, there was, I mean, to this day, I don't speak to any family. So I don't know where any of them are. I don't care to. It's just that it's not what I want. I have my wife and I have my new children and my grandchildren, and they're a whole world to me because they love me for me, and they're ready for me to come home as the new person. And it really is a new person because, like like Randall says, he said, I can't believe you're so bitter and hateful. If you could have done a podcast 3 months ago, 3.5 months ago, with me sitting in here, the F word and everything else and the hatefulness of Odyssey House and why I had to be there, to today was just amazing. Amazing. I look at myself in the mirror, truthfully, Randall, and I say, what'd you do with Michael? Where's Mikey at? And then I say it back to it, and I say, I know where he's at. He's being a good, clean person now.
Well, what I mean, it's
Yeah, what was was there a switch?
It was a switch.
Yeah.
It really was, truthfully, because it was really bad. I blew up and I was angry. I was off my medication, my bipolar, and my they've actually, it's moved to borderline personality disorder. And they diagnosed the cancer back in my esophagus and stomach. It's come back in stage 3. So I went to the doctor, and that morning I was really angry, and I said, you know what? And I'd slept on it the night before, and I said, I really don't care. I didn't go camping because bad things happened camping when I was a kid. And so I went up, and I went to have physical therapy on my foot. And it was funny because somebody called and talked to me from camping and said, you know, we really wish you wouldn't go anywhere or do anything till we get back and make a decision. I was like, yeah, whatever, okay. And I got mad, and it was like I was sitting, and my physical therapist was helping me with my foot from the motorcycle accident, and her little assistant said, we think you should stay, you know. You're doing so good, and you know what? We'd both support. We think it'd be good, Michael. I think you'd be a good person to help people there. And I said, you guys just don't know. Okay? And they was like, okay. And about that time, somebody brought the cordless phone from the front desk over to me, and it happened to be my wife. And for some reason, she found out I was at physical therapy, and they said, can you talk to her? And I guess Bev and them had told her that I was up at physical therapy and I was going to leave. Bev had yelled at me because she was there at the center. Everybody else was camping. And I said, fine, dear. You know what? I'll go back and I'll try and be better. Well, I started coming back, and Josh, that is in Jets with, he says, you know, why don't you go Jets? And I said, yeah, me? And he said, yeah, you might. And I said, really? He goes, me and Daniel's been talking about it, the director of the
Right.
Mill Creek. Said, we've been talking about it. And I said, okay. So we get on the tracks, and we ride back to the tracks, and as we walk up the driveway at Mill Creek, the house is in chaos. People are going loca. Staff don't know how to stop them. Everything's there's just screaming and going on. People just mad at this and mad at that and mad at this. And for some reason, we were supposed to leave and take these girls to Intermountain or to Sugar House U of U to the emergency, and the girl said, we can wait a minute, let OG go in and talk to these 3 people. And I said, what makes you think I'm the authority of it? And at that point, Randall, I walked in the door, and the 3 girls, by the time I calmed them down and talked to staff about what was going on and had everything going on, everybody just said, where did the old OG go? And I stood and I thought, holy crap. Well, it just happened because I used all the advice that everybody was giving me to them, and you know, all 3 of the girls said, okay, we'll sleep on it. I said, that'd be great. Just do it in the morning. We went up to the medical center to take them, and the 2 girls that were sitting there said, you know, I don't think we could walk away from here now, Mike, because just what you said in that corridor amazed us. And I said, I know, amazed me too. And that was the first time I walked into the bathroom, and I stood in the University of Utah Instacare up in Sugar House, and I looked in the mirror and I thought, you know what? You are a lot better person. You are a whole lot better person. You will be a whole lot better person for the rest of your life. So you know what? On Thursday, go to the Jets meeting, start working to get towards this. And I'll tell you, when I became a Jet, it's probably one of the prideful things in my life that I will always hold dear. And so everybody says, wow, look at him. He completely changed and everything to be a Jet. And I said, it's not just to be a Jet, Randall. It's to graduate from Odyssey House and actually work there and be able to try and give and keep people from walking out that door. So
Isn't that amazing?
That is
Just for
It is, I mean, I have goosebumps from your story.
it was just a switch. You know?
Jets is junior executive training, and it's sort of the elite of people who are in residential care at Odyssey, and they're nominated internally by other peers in the program, and then everybody votes on them, and then they have a fair amount more freedom than some other clients, that they can go out and outreach programs or come down and do a podcast, things like that.
And then do they get training?
We do. Yep.
And-
Because
and
going
with-
out on the outreach and everything, the training is. And then when we have our weekly meeting with Randall and Jason, it gives you that insight to go. I mean, me and Jason had probably 2.5 hour talk on Saturday at
Really?
the Davis County Recovery Days. And it was really neat because I didn't realize the things that he was looking at. And when I started mentioning the things that I was like, well, let's just not vote for people into just because they do the proposal. Let's see what their what they want to do with it. If they want to, because remember, I went to 3 outreaches and the Jets meeting before I was even voted in, and it was really neat because I got to tell you, to work with Jen Harris, that lady is amazing. She is a superwoman. And to work with Jason Miller, he's another one. Come on the pod, doing the family group, support group last night, Randall, I got to tell you, it touched my heart. It made me, I was on top of the world last night. There was nothing could bring me down. I mean, we even had chaos in the house over picking some girls up from the Instacare that was sick. That's the same as when I turned it around. Now, the East House, we have an overflow house that was an old United Way house. And so 14 of us or 15 of us males go over there, and that's where we sleep at night. And so with me, when they let me go over there, it was like I get to come to Mill Creek, the other one, 4th East. It's like coming to a job. And so it's kind of like training me already, because all the staff, they're just like, just go get Hodges, go get Hodges, go get Hodges. And it's like really funny, you know what I mean? I mean, even Daniel, he's like, go get Hodges, he can do it. Go ask him, he can do it. You know, if you would have asked him that, 50 days ago, they would have said, don't even go talk to him. He's hateful. He's angry. He's,
You know what I'm observing, that you faced a lot of rejection when you were younger, and people were basically telling you you're a piece of shit.
Yep.
And you went through life believing that, and now you've got this sense of pride, and you like yourself.
I love myself.
Okay, well.
And the good thing is my wife loves me too, even more, because when she writes in a card that if I seen myself through her eyes instead of being so negative, and when I was, because she always says, even back when you were in federal prison and you were using, you still was an angel, Michael, but you know what? You was just a hateful one. And now you're a whole different person, and it makes me feel so good. And because she said, when you're sober, if you set your mind to it, you pretty much can do everything. Because, I tried to do an intensive outpatient, but that's why I say try, because last year my other probation officer said, you need to do this. And I said, okay, I'll do it. Well, I found ways to pass the UA. I found everything because it was IOP. I gave them hell. I really gave them hell. I mean, I would show up late. I would, they'd tell me I needed an assignment, and I was like, yeah, okay, look, I'm clean. And they're like, are you really? And I was like, yeah. And then one day they said, okay, you're not doing this at Valley Behavioral, and you're going to be watched to UA. And that was the dirtiest. Started showing that I was having it masked and having it cleaned up, because you can try and beat it all, but I wasn't ready for it at that point. Mm-hmm. So when I went on the run, it was like, that's when I decided to give them the run for their money. And, my PO, he knew, because I straight told him, I said, catch me if you can. And now my PO, Greg Peterson, he's wonderful. I mean, I just went to drug court on Monday, and I'll tell you, they swear by Odyssey House. They really do. And it's funny because they told me I was going to Epic, Valley Behavioral, Epic, and they put me in Odyssey, and, I was like, oh. But now I look at it as a blessing. It really was a blessing, because I didn't realize how much Odyssey really does change people's lives. And if you want it and you go for it, you can do, amazing things. I'm proof of it. So,
And folks, we didn't pay him to say that either, so.
At 57 years old, I mean, I probably could have said no, you know, I want to pick a different one, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. They told me they were going to send me to just the men's, and I said I don't want to go to a mental health one because I know I have the personality disorders, but I knew I needed to work on them too, Randall. If I didn't, then how was I going to come out? Because I self-medicated half my life, you know, almost all my life. But that was the one thing my wife always did. She always, no matter how I was out running or gunning, she made sure that I was taking my medication, because without it, I'm a different person. You
Well,
know?
I'm glad we have you here as this person.
Yeah, well, this was the person. Like I said, it would have been fun, though, Randall, to see me hit the first and go,
Before
oh,
and
my
after.
goodness, yeah, because, you know, I mean, you thought Bev was a handful. I mean, just like she said to me, she said, I was an excellent client compared to you, Mr. Hodges. And I mean, I just love the staff there at Milk Creek. I know there's good staff at the other ones. I just haven't been there, but I love the staff there, you know. It's so funny because each of them have their own little personality and their own thing. And it's really neat because they think so highly of me now. And, I mean, they thought highly of me, that they just didn't think I was going to get it, Randall. Nobody did. I mean, you talk to Greg Peterson, and he'll tell you, I had one foot out the door at administrations and the other one in there going, should I stay or should I go? You know, I think they probably had bets, him and the judge and others, to see if I
Probably in
really
the
was going
background.
to. Yeah.
Believe it or not, we're out
Yeah.
of time. I appreciate you coming in, and thank goodness you've made the turnaround, and you've got a great future.
God, it's inspiring. It
Well,
really is.
Don't you think that's-
You'll see me up here a
Could
lot.
you have written a story like this?
Not believably.
No, I
Maybe
couldn't
we'll
have
have to write
delivered
one.
one on TV either, but
Yeah.
it's all real.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
very
right.
much, Michael.
Thank you, Randall.
Yeah. Thank you for watching another edition of Odyssey House Journals.